bring the music down a little bit. Everybody, welcome to our charity presentation. I hope everybody is awake this morning. What's awake? It's a thing in the water in the ocean. I'm sticking to that. Everybody, we want to introduce the CARE Foundation. They are a designated charity this year. Kristen is going to tell you a little bit about the organization. We've got a little video presentation. We're going to try and get some of the animals in here because the hotel has had some special stipulations about it. So we're going to make sure that we're following all of that. But in the meantime, we're going to do this presentation. Then afterwards, we're going to have a charity auction. Some of these fine objects over here. Objet d'art. Not darts like fur throws, but art. Yep. Look, I aimed for your butt. You're lucky. We're gonna be selling stuff to raise money for charity. We are looking to raise a lot of money, and Kristen's going to explain why. Because there's some extra expenses that have come up that we really need to help them take care of. So Kristen, why don't you tell a little bit about the CARE Foundation and what you're trying to do?
Okay, so welcome everybody. How many of you guys, show of hands, have been here before, know who we are? Okay, that's a bonus. So, basically, we're a nonprofit animal sanctuary. We specialize in exotic and wild animals. And here in Florida, you need licensing for just about everything. So that's where we come in. We've got approximately 30 different state and one federal license that allows us to have the animals. And it's a part of helping with animals that are coming into the state or people illegally owning them. So that's when we step up and take these animals in. We have developed through the years with you guys. We have been the charity of choice from the very beginning, and we could not be where we are today at the CARE Foundation without your help. You guys have helped tremendously. We've had to move from one location to the other, and at that time we had 80 animals, including a couple bears and tigers and things like that. So you can imagine the cost. Now we have approximately 200 animals. So yes, and without the help of you guys throughout the years, we could have never kept taking them in. The pandemic threw us, as well as everybody else, into a panic. And through it, we've had some very rough times. But you guys, again, stepped up and helped us out. And we've been in survival mode for a few years, but we've also continued to take animals in. And I've had several people ask us what a bunch of the charity money is going to this year. We have actually taken in 4 new foxes that were very unexpected. We've been helping with fur farm rescues, and some of the foxes we've taken in would have been pelted out this year. So we are, right now we have them in temporary housing where we normally put big cats, and we need to move them in case we have any big cats coming in. So we need to build 2 different areas for the new foxes. In addition to that, anybody that was here yesterday that saw the baby monkey, baby Ava, the spider monkey, we need a place to put her. She has a playpen outside right now, and she goes in with a few of the other monkeys, and then at night she comes in. But we have an area we'd like to kind of tear apart and redo and enlarge for her. They're animals that are always on the move and always swinging around and all, so we want to make a huge area for her and her big brother Amos to go in and live in and play in. So we've got several things in line that we need money for, and like I said, basic survival also. With about 200 animals, you can imagine the cost of keeping things running. And around wintertime, around this time of year, I start having to look towards winter. It's 100 degrees out, but I have to start thinking about wintertime because we have a lot of birds and reptiles and animals that cannot be out in the cold. So a lot of the money also goes towards prepping for that. Our electric bill alone goes from $200 to $300 up to $800 just within a couple months when winter hits because of all the heat lamps and stuff. So you guys are a driving force to keep us going and keep us allowing to take in the animals that we do unexpectedly. Does anybody have any questions real quick so far about anything I've said?
So I'm sure you don't ask about this particular animal type recently.
What type what?
Do you know of the jaguarundi?
The jaguarundi, yes.
Do you happen to have one?
We do not have a jaguarundi. I don't know anybody really that has a jaguarundi.
Florida was only allowed to be taken in Brazil, so that's
Yeah, Brazil has the jaguarundi and so does Florida, but they're very rare here in Florida. Anybody else with any questions real quick? And we'll run a little, we're hoping it works. We'll run a little presentation here that we've kind of put together. Some of you all have been out to our place, some of you have not. So we wanted to show some of our place and explain some of the animals that we have there. Travis, you ready? And hopefully this works, because otherwise I'm going to have to talk through the whole thing. So this is Amos. Amos is our spider monkey, our big boy. A lot of you guys know Amos. Some of you that don't know, he's one of our first rescue monkeys. And it's always interesting. Amos was raised more like a child. So at night he comes in, he has his dinner in the house, he has a special area, and then he hangs with us a lot of times. And then in the day, we go ahead and we bring him out to visit other animals. Today, he wants to go see his sister, but then it's just going to wind up into a sibling fight. So we're going to take him in with one of his other favorites. So you can follow us along the way. We're going to go see Miss Cindy, past Brewster the rooster. And Amos is a rainforest animal that doesn't like getting his feet wet. So, go? That's a mastiff. Yeah, that's our neighbor's dog. Go, Amos, go! Go, Amos, go! Amos is used to this. He knows exactly where to go and what he's doing. We usually let him pick different cages to go in, see different monkeys. Cindy's one of his favorites. Come here, Amos. All right, we're going to let him in with Cindy. And the cape I'm wearing is what we commonly call the crab cape. When he goes in with Cindy, she usually grooms him right away. So it's a love fest. So we're going to see what kind of mood Cindy's in today. I think she just went and hid. There's Mr. Amos waiting patiently. Let's open this door. All right, Amos, go find Cindy. Oh, Cindy's hiding for the moment, but I'm sure when we come back, Amos will be all laid down. He's looking for her now. He's very spoiled. Usually he comes in, he lays down, and Cindy starts grooming him. So, and over here is Choop. Choop just ran away. All right, yeah, Choop is actually another monkey that has anger management issues. Coming in is our volunteer Amber, and with her, of course, is Wolfie and little Kalua there. Oh, it's like Bambi on ice. Wolfie here's been with us for quite a long time. He's an old man now. He's been coming to Megaplex for a few years now. He's now about 14 years old. He's one of the ones where we were not expecting. A personal friend of ours passed away and owned Wolfie, and we knew Wolfie really well, so we took Wolfie in. So luckily he's more like a dog than he is a wolf most of the time, but the wolf part is very evident in him. He's apparently 50% timber wolf and 50% husky, but he has been blowing his coat nonstop for 6 months. And I'm changing my air conditioner filter every 2 to 3 weeks because of Wolfie. He's a digger, and if he rolls over and his lips go back, there is no doubt that he is a wolf dog. So he's got the Wolfie mouth. And in her hands is baby Kalua. Yep. Kalua and her sister Rumchata. Rumchata's got the day off. You can tell us girls had a little party and named the Skunks. We're up to 5 skunks at our facility. 4 out of the 5 we've hand raised. They're actually therapy skunks. They work with special needs children, extremely well behaved. The last skunk that we have, Zeus, was owned by a woman. She bought him when he was a baby, and instead of handling him a lot, she threw him in a cage, and she had allergies and just never played with him, and he got very, very cantankerous, you might say. He's a biter. With most of our skunks that we've hand raised, we can flip upside down, do their nails, do their flea meds. Just one person can do that. With Zeus, it takes 3 of us, 2 just to catch him and hold him so the other person can do the meds and do the nails and not get bit. So skunks are one of the only exotic pets that I really recommend as a pet. We often get asked what makes a good pet if you don't want a typical dog or cat. The skunks are awesome if you get them as babies, handle them a lot. Our skunks come in the house to play. They live outside, but they come in. And our house cats actually taught them to use the litter box. So they can be very affectionate. If we sit on the sofa for 2 seconds, they're in our lap wanting to cuddle. So that's little Kahlua there. So any questions so far? Do what? Kahlua is almost 2 years old now. Yep. The wolf dog? He's 14. Yep, yeah, and he's on all kinds of arthritis medicine, but he's hanging in there. He's doing good. So, all right, should we go on with the next presentation part? Yeah. Travis, hit it. You guys are gonna love this one. Okay, so what's normally in here is what I commonly call the Mississippi bastards. You'll see why in a second. These guys are very nocturnal, they don't like being woke up, but they probably just went to bed. So let me knock on the door and see if anybody comes out. Kinkies! I brought treats, so they can't be so mad, right? Hey, Bear, Honey, Layla. Anybody home? Nobody home. We might have to come back and do this. Hey, Kinky Jews. Oh, there's one, and it's the one that hates me the most. This, as you can see, is Honey. Now I'm gonna bribe Honey for coming out, and she doesn't bite me for, yeah. I've got treats. Be nice. Be nice. Ah, there is no be nice. And right behind her is Bear. Kinkajous are basically a South and Central American raccoon, even though they look like a little monkey. And as you can see, they can be very evil. These guys are extremely pissed off at me. They actually came from a sanctuary in Mississippi. Bitch. They actually came from a sanctuary in Mississippi, a so-called sanctuary. All 7 animals that we took out of there were very unhealthy and unstable one way or another. These guys attacked me one night. I went in to give them a blanket. I was being nice, and Honey jumped me from behind, grabbed my finger, ripped my fingernail off. I actually had to stand on her head to get her to let go. And then Bear, luckily I was wearing a hoodie because Bear, this little guy, actually started attacking me from behind. So they're not usually this evil, but considering the way they were kept and everything, I don't blame them at all. So they have this special feed area so we can feed them and not get grabbed. Hand feeding them like I'm doing right now, there's always a chance, but we'll just put their treats in here. We're missing one, she's sleeping in right now, but that's okay. Yeah. So as you can see, bastards, I'm bleeding already, and that's just from Honey grabbing me with her nails. These guys do have a prehensile tail. They can hang upside down. A lot of times they will eat hanging upside down. And their favorite food, obviously, is watermelon and grapes. So I tried to suck up, and with her, it just didn't matter. Honey, it just didn't matter. So, yeah, they're real cute, aren't they? Real cute. Who wants a kinkajou? They also call them honey bears. And that's a nice shot of Bear, his bear ass. What? Oh, kinkies, bad kinkies. So, yeah. Don't wake up the kinkajous. Yeah, that high-pitched scream is not something you want to hear when you're in with them. So, but yeah, it doesn't matter what kind of condition the animal is in when it comes in. We still will work through all the problems and everything. We're very hands-on at our facility, which is pretty rare for places like ours. But most of the animals come around very nicely and all. This little group, it is what it is, and we just deal with it. So, all right, what's up next, Travis? Oh, the tigers. So right now we're going to go in with one of my favorites. Everybody asks who's my favorite. This is actually one of my favorites. Her name is Katrina, sweetest girl ever, also known as the tiny tiger. She's gonna come out, but then she'll come back in. She's not going all the way out right now. And Daddy's doing the filming, so she's got to keep Daddy. Come on. Come on, Trina. Good girl. Come here. Can you go up? Come on. As I go down. The hazards of tiger toys. We got Katrina here. She came in all the way from California, and she's what I call a leap of faith. She's sliming right now. A sign of affection, but really gross. Basically, we were expecting Daenerys, another tiger, to come in from California. And right before Daenerys was flown, the people called and asked if I could take another one. And I said, what's going on? They said, well, she's a baby. She's gone through a couple of years already. And they already took her off the bottle, which was way too early. And I said, go ahead and send her. I was wondering why a cat so young actually would already be unwanted. So I thought something physically or mentally was wrong with her, but I took a leap of faith and said, let's go ahead and send her and see what we get. And what we got was the sweetest girl ever. Hey, come here. Come here, good girl. Very well behaved. When we got her in, I tried to get her back on the bottle, but that wasn't really working, so I had to give her extra calcium. And she was raised in the house at first. She knows no bite, no claws. Very well behaved. Of course, when she eats, when we throw like a big old chicken quarter or something, it's game on. She does turn into a tiger. So we don't come in when we have feeding time going on, but I can bring in small pieces of food and feed her. Very well behaved. So it's one of my favorite girls. She's such a sweet girl. And tigers are very endangered. Right now there's more tigers, as you can see. She won't bite down. There's more tigers, unfortunately, in the United States in private collections and zoos than there are in the wild. So we need to start doing a better job of protecting where the tigers are from. Stop the poaching, stop the logging, all the slashing and burning, and take better care of these guys. So that's little Katrina, my tiny tiger. And by the way, that noise she's making, that sounds like kind of like a horse noise, that's her way of saying hello. So, all right. What you didn't see in the video is later she almost threw me in the pool. So, tigers love water and they think everybody should. So, and that area she's in is her nighttime lockdown area. She does have a huge play area. She has another cat that actually two others. She has a tiger that she goes out with, her sister, we call her sister Daenerys. And then this next guy you're gonna see are what we call the toddler. He'll be 5 in September, and he's approximately 700 to 800 pounds. So, Travis? Okay, so this is our largest resident on property. He's not even 5 years old yet. His name is Chimera, and Chimera is a LLiger. He is, in fact, the only LLiger in Florida. What that basically means is everybody's got a liger. He's a LLiger. His mom was a liger, and his dad was a lion. So he's 2 parts lion, 1 part tiger. Chimera. And Chimera loves to have his mane brush. Chimera, come here. And he's just a big baby most of the time. Very well behaved boy. He was just like Katrina. We got him when he was a baby, and we raised him in the house. That's not a good side, boy. Come here. We raised him in the house. He knows no bite, no claws. But again, at dinner time, it's a totally different thing. He's a wild animal. So we don't come in with him at dinner time unless we have small pieces of food. He loves to be fed salmon by hand, little chicken, drumsticks, things like that. Of course, with him, everything's little. In the wintertime, when he was going through growth spurt, he was eating 22 pounds of meat a night. And he was several hundred pounds smaller than what he is right now. He's a very good boy. He, in fact, runs with Katrina out in our big play area. So he's a very good boy. He's a very good boy. And I'm still mom, luckily. He's very well behaved. Usually if I yell at him, if he's starting to get into trouble, he'll stop. And this is his pool. And sometimes he'll go in his pool, but he mainly uses this as his drinking, his water trough. So, yeah. At first we were wondering how much he went in it because the water level was always going down so fast. No, he just drinks from it, even though he has a really nice area up top where he can drink. So these guys are very lazy. And because he's 2 parts lion, he's extra lazy, and he's also very stubborn, because lions tend to be very stubborn. So yeah, he's quite a handful. Because he's a LLiger, we have no idea how big he's going to get. He's probably pushing 700 to 800 pounds right now, and not even 5 years old yet. So this area that we built him, we built it to hold a T-Rex, because we didn't know how big he's going to get. And these guys, after 4 years old, most of the big cats are done growing. These guys will continue to grow. It just slows down quite a bit. So there's no telling how big he's going to get, but hopefully he'll always be a mommy's boy. What? What? Just a big old goof. You a big old goof? Big old goof? Yeah, not the bravest of the big cats, but what? What? Yeah. Good boy. Big yawn. Big yawn. Yeah, he's a sweetheart. Love him to death. So, very unusual animal. Oh, and just a little side note, I don't usually mention, but I'll mention it to you guys. Before we took him in, I did some research because I never heard of a LLiger before. And there was only one person in the United States at the time that had LLigers, had LLiger babies, and that was Joe Exotic. So y'all probably saw that train wreck of Tiger King and all. When I saw the picture of Joe with the babies, I saw that picture, and then when I picked him up, he had very distinct spots and stripes, and I could tell which animal, which baby he was in that picture with Joe. And I got confirmation he's gonna show off to Daddy. I got confirmation, yeah, he was born at Joe Exotics. So thank God he made his way here. I didn't pick him up from Joe or any of those guys or anything. I got him from a guy in Illinois that had 2 of them, him and his brother. So yeah, that's Chimera. So I said that you never know what's going to come in, and unexpected, there you go. Any questions about him or the tigers?
Which breed all the tigers are they Siberian or Bengal?
Very good question. They ask which breed, which male or female, or excuse me, a Bengal or Siberian are tigers. One of the reasons we function is because there are a lot of tigers being born in the United States, but it is very indiscriminate breeding. There's a lot of mixed breeding. Our tigers, like Katrina there you saw, she's mainly Bengal, but she probably has a little Siberian, and I'd like to say she has a little Sumatran, which would be really rare and really crazy, but given her size. We have one tiger named Tyrion, who's mainly Siberian, but you can tell he definitely has Bengal in him. And then Daenerys also, she's a mix too. So zoos do not want the mixed tigers, okay? They want the pure Siberians, pure Bengals, that's it. So a place like ours functions to take in the overflow of the ones that have nowhere else to go than our mixes. So each one of our tigers is a little different. Any other questions? Way in the back, yell at me.
Yeah, how did you teach a tiger not to bite?
How did I teach it not to bite? Luckily I got it when it was very, very young, and I basically raised it like a mother would. We would allow them, they're very, they like to put your hands and things in their mouth and everything. And we let them go ahead and just nibble and just, do that. But if they start to bite down, we say no or easy. And we always talk happy around them unless there's a reason not to. So if they start to bite down, we yell no or easy. So they realize, hey, something just happened. And one time, Katrina bit a little too hard when I said no. I gave her 3 warnings. I said no 3 times. And she bit harder and harder. I grabbed her paw, bit the hell out of it, and she stopped and never did it again. Yeah, just like Mom would do, except Mom probably wouldn't have given 3 chances to screw up. But just like a mom would do, that's how you do it. So, and she has been exceptional ever since. So, when we talk happy around them all the time, if something starts happening and we raise our voice, it's like, oh shit, something bad is about to happen. So, it stops usually immediately. So, anybody else?
It's a question for you. How did you happen to get into this? You might have told us when you were working. I'm so glad that you're you, and I just wondered how you got.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad you said that. Thank you very much. Basically, I've always had weird animals. I've always had a connection with animals. I've brought things home when I was little that my mom didn't even know I had. So I started real early, and then I just started working with other people that had different animals. And the one person I worked with was an ex-circus trainer, and I saw more of what not to do than what to do. He was very heavy-handed with animals, and I just went from my instincts and just went from there. Our company didn't start out being a nonprofit. It started being just Florida native animals going into schools and libraries to teach education. Because here in Florida, our environment houses such a unique group of animals, such a diverse group of animals. A kid can walk out in his backyard, run into an alligator, a snake, a raccoon, any number of things. We still have a few panthers left in Florida. So we started out just doing education on the animals that the kids could run into, so teaching safety, and then everybody started dumping ex-pets on us. And that's how it went. And I'm extremely lucky to have the best group of volunteers. Most of them have been with me for many, many years. Kelly, who's the assistant director, is in the other room with some of the animals. She's been with me for over 11 years. So, and she started by just pulling weeds and doing craft work. So, yeah, I've got the best group of volunteers around.
Hey, Kristen.
Hey.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Actually, something I would like for you to explain to people. So, as Florida conservationists, you actually mentioned panthers. Could you talk very briefly about the Florida panther and what's happening with that particular species? It's very sad.
It is very sad. Yeah, at one time we had panthers all throughout Florida, up into Georgia, just all over the place. And with the influx of people, of course, and development and roads, the panthers started being lost, basically. We still lose several a year to roads, crossing the roads and everything. Development is a very big problem. At one time, the Florida panthers were down to 30 individuals. And that is extremely bad for any type of animal, because at that point, there's inbreeding going on, which means the babies are being born unhealthy. At one point, a lot of them were being born with extra holes in their hearts, and they didn't make it to breeding age. So there's been a lot of problems over the years. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard about the python hunt down in South Florida. Well, yeah, pythons could take down panthers also. So that's another added problem to the Florida panther. So the state FWC has been working on introducing different animals. They have introduced western cougars to the Florida panthers, which is a cousin, to help bring the diversity back into the panthers a little bit. And corridors have been bought up to help with the panthers going from one area to the other. But it's nothing like it used to be. They're mainly down in the Everglades and Big Cypress area. So yeah, that's what's going on right now. Did I answer that? Well enough?
Yeah, just because it is a critically endangered
species. It is.
We wanted to kind of let people know what Florida is doing and what conservation groups are doing to help kind of our favorite animal, because Pounce is our mascot.
Pounce, yep. Pounce is a great representative. Yeah, it is the most endangered mammal in North America at this point. So that's a pretty sad thing that Florida has to represent. It's our state animal. It's the most endangered mammal. So, all right. Should we do another one, Travis? I don't even know who's up next. We'll find out. We'll find out together.
Ginger and Loki's group.
There you go, guys. A lot of you might recognize Ginger and Loki. They were here before, but they were babies.
I'm very excited. A lot of you guys know Ginger and Loki. This is them all grown up. She is adorable, of course. Loki's sticking up. In the back corner, we have a new addition. That is Jamie Foxx, and no, I did not name him. In fact, the person that named him told me that if he was a white fox, he would have been Michael J. Fox. Yeah. So anyway, Jamie's still
I didn't do that.
Not obviously. Ginger is not. Ginger is sent Mark and Travis right now. And Loki, God only knows where Loki went. So yeah, unfortunately these guys don't come out anymore. When they were outside, and this happens a lot with like bobcats and other animals too, when you move them outside, their personality shifts a little bit. So yeah, they just love attention in their cage though. And you can't tell, but Loki is actually behind Travis. Come here, Loki. And these guys, we're up to 10 foxes, actually 9 that we own, and then 1 we're boarding for somebody. People are still trying to make foxes pets. And as cute as they are, as playful as they are not pets. They don't belong in the house. They steal things, they tear things up, they're diggers. So they will dig up everything in the house. They'll chew everything up. Like I said, they'll steal things and you won't find them for months later. And right now, it smells really skunky in here. They actually smell like skunk spray right now because they're all excited, they're having fun. And when they're excited, whether it be playful or stressful, these guys, they give off a hormone that smells just like skunk spray. It is disgusting. And right now, with it as humid as it is, what? Oh, Loki needs love too. With it as humid as it is, this place smells really funky. Funky. So, yeah, this is my baby girl. She's such a sweetie. So yeah, foxes don't belong in houses. And in fact, under this entire cage, which was a bear to do, there's fencing. These guys, because they dig, they can easily dig out if you're not careful. So there's a lot of things to take into consideration. We also have now some fur farm foxes. And that noise she's making is just play. She's not in pain. That sounds like a dog in pain, but that's how they play, and that's how they socialize. But yeah, we took in some fur farm foxes around the country, and even in other countries now, fur farms are being shut down, going out of business, which is a fantastic thing. But unfortunately, the foxes need somewhere to go. Sometimes the farmers are just killing them, but we've taken in a few of the fur farm foxes and helped with that rescue. So yeah, there's all that stuff going on. So there's a shift in consciousness right now where these animals don't belong as something you wear. I think personally they look much better than their own skin. So anyway, that's the foxes. Everybody just hanging out. It's an early morning, so they're just hanging out, and Ginger is in high performance right now. Ginger goes from 0 to 100 in a second. So that's our foxes. You right there.
I know that you have 10 foxes you said. Do you have any other foxes besides red foxes?
Oh yeah, we have several different color foxes. They all are descendants of the red foxes. I believe Flash and Vixen though may have some Arctic fox in them. So, but most of our foxes, even Jamie, the one there, he's a black silvertip fox. He's descendant from some red fox. So, anybody else have a question? Over there.
Are other kinds of foxes, such as fennec foxes, more easily domesticatable?
I actually have a friend that has a fennec fox. She raised it in the house and then had to move it outside because it kept getting loose on her. She said, no, I've never had a fennec fox, but she and I talked about it, and they're crazy too. They're just a smaller version of the red fox. But yeah, she's lost clothing, had clothing chewed up and missing things. So yeah, it's equally a crazy animal. So right over here.
Like squirrels.
Yeah, I guess some of the vocalizations they do sound a little like squirrels. Yeah, and I get all the time people freaking out when one of the foxes were playing with them and they make that high-pitched noise, but it is totally different from a dog. That is their happy noise. All right, so Travis, what's next? You have a question, go ahead.
What does the fox say?
The fox says whatever it wants. Actually, Ginger, a lot of times, Ginger and Loki are right behind my house, and it sounds like little kids laughing. They have a very happy sound to them. All right, so who are we at?
Okay, so now we're in Skunky Town. This little ball of joy here is Zeus. Zeus is doing the typical warning of don't get near me or else. Luckily, he's been de-skunked. So all he can do is stamp his feet and be obnoxious, and that's about it. Yeah, sometimes he'll turn around and act like he's going to spray, and then he gets all disappointed.
I brought him a little treat just because he's kind of a douche skunk, to put it plainly. Oh, that was very nice. This little girl, she's a standard skunk. This is Trixie. Little Trixie. Trixie is an ambassador of ours. She goes out all the time with us. Trixie and the one coming up in a second, Boo, baby Boo here. They were hand-raised in my house along with 2 other skunks that we use for ambassadors. They're kind of like therapy skunks. Boo is actually called a lavender skunk. They come in all different colors. They call him a lavender skunk because certain times of the year he'll turn bleached white and have a purplish face and a purplish stripe down his back. So they come in a multitude of colors. They breed them for pets. And this is one of the few exotics. Hey Boo, baby Boo, Boo Boo, don't take her cracker. This is one of the few exotics that I highly recommend as a good pet. Like Trixie and Boo, they were raised in the house, given a lot of love, a lot of attention, and they're very affectionate. Boo comes in the house occasionally to come and visit. The house cats have taught Boo and Trixie to use the litter box. So they can be excellent pets if they're gotten when they were babies and raised with lots of loving care constantly, handling them constantly. Zeus was bought by somebody who was kind of allergic to him, threw him in a cage, didn't handle him a whole lot, and yeah, so he broke out one day and tore a huge hole in her mattress, tore up all her house plants. These guys are diggers. And actually went up into her mattress, and when the lady reached up to get him out, he bit her, and bit her pretty bad. So that's when we got Zeus. So yeah, if they're raised properly, they can be an excellent hands-on animal. I can hand Boo and Trixie both off to anybody, including little children. They're great. We've got 2 others named Chada and Kalula. Yeah, you can tell who named them that. Us girls that one night had a little party. But yeah, these guys are a lot of fun. We call this Skunky Town. The other girls are living in a no boys club. So anyway, these are little skunks. Any skunk questions for me? Actually, deskunking, it's no different sort of than neutering or spaying a dog. It's a quick snip, but it has to be done shortly after they're born. It can be done later, but there's a greater risk of not totally getting it deskunked and also of infection and death. So usually the breeders will do it right after the babies are born. So luckily every skunk we've ever had has been done before we got it. So I don't recommend wild skunks. Yeah, actually, it depends on the animal. Like the skunks, the females have all been spayed. The tigers have all been spayed, the females. So it depends on the animal and if it's going in with another animal or whatnot. We did the female tigers instead of doing the males. A lot of people say, well, if you do the males, doesn't that make them less aggressive? That's not always the case, not with the big cats. With the dogs, it tends to be, but not with the big cats. And we did the females in case we got a male lion in, because a lot of people don't know this, but if you neuter a male lion, he either doesn't get his mane, or if he has a mane, it falls out. So he needs that testosterone. So we decided to do all the girls. So it really depends on the animal itself, and if we think it's going to be housed with the opposite sex. We do practice safe sex at our place as much as possible. So with the pigs, I don't know what's going on in the mini barnyard. The other day I walked down there and there was a pig on top of our big tortoise and she was going to town. So it was just wrong. And I wouldn't normally share that story, but I thought you might appreciate that. And that same tortoise is not unusual for that tortoise to knock over a food bowl, or I even caught him on a cinder block one time going to town. So yeah, it's wrong. There's nothing right in that barnyard. So anyway, on that note, Travis, let's hit it. Speaking of which, this is the barnyard I was just talking about. So now we're going into the Barnyard Buddies area. It's a multitude of different animals, and waiting for me is little Ellie Mae. Ellie Mae the emu. We've got some chickens. We've got Henrietta, the big one. and Beyonce, the little fancy one. Now over here, we follow Ellie Mae around. And try not to trip over everybody and everything. There's Jethro. There's Jethro, sounding like a dinosaur. These guys, I have to be careful with my phone because my phone is a little more blingy and they like shiny things. And here we have little and right behind Lulu is Goliath. Everybody says we never knew they move so fast. Yeah, if food's involved or possible food's involved, they move pretty darn quick.
Those are the ones I'm talking about.
So these two are mini pigs that a horse rescue actually saved them. And then the neighbors had a problem with the mini pigs. They didn't mind the horse rescue, but apparently pigs were stepping over the line. So we took them in. Goliath was stolen from a drug dealer. When Goliath came in, he was incredibly unhealthy. When he started eating, he cracked out Mardi Gras beads, you can't even say it, Mardi Gras beads and drywall. So that's all he was getting to eat. Now he's got a real healthy diet. And as you can tell, he's very personable. Hello? Hello? So yeah, a wide variety of animals. We're going to be redoing this area fairly soon. We haven't quite figured out how yet. But, hi! But it's a free-for-all in here. Let's see if I can get a close-up of little Miss Thing over here. Hi! Oh, that's Jethro. Sorry. Sorry. Hi. I love your hair. Who does your hair? You're fine. You're fine. He's like, what's going on? Why are you in here? What's going on? Look at that hair, though. Oh, my God. What's your hairdresser's name? Hi. Hi. Goodbye. And quiet. Right in the corner of the water. Needless to say, we trip over animals all the time. So this is a unique group that all lives together. One of the other groups I failed to mention earlier that we're trying to raise money for is we're redoing one of our very original, the first habitat we ever built. We had to rebuild some of it, so we're in the process of doing that. That habitat belongs to Hannibal the bobcat, 3 house cats, and Miss Louise the raccoon. We mix a lot of our animals, and we were fortunate to get the bobcat in as a baby and the 3 house cats in at the same time unexpectedly. And at the time, Louise was hanging out in the house. Miss Louise has done TV work, she's done movie work, she's done documentaries with the BBC, she's done thousands of school programs. Miss Louise is the most amazing raccoon. She's over 20 years old right now. She's ancient, but she is mom of that group, and they all live peacefully together. And the one thing we always do when we have school children come in is we explain that the bobcat in the wild would kill and eat every single one of them. But here, they were all raised with love and respect, and they all get along so why can't people? So that's the kind of habitat we try to put together. So that's where some of your money is going to, is to finish off their area. So this last one, I don't have any talking while we're doing it really, so we're just going to show it, and then I'll talk as we're going here. This is Ava, right?
4 more to go.
Oh.
And ironically, you were on Hannibal's group.
Oh, okay. You guys ready to see Hannibal's group? I forgot we even videotaped this. All right, this is our weird little special family. Totally forgot about that. Okay, so we're in a temporary house and we're rebuilding the house in these areas. This is the most unique group we have here. We actually have Hannibal the bobcat. See how he's in today. There's the hand. Hannibal the bobcat. And then he's got 3 house cats he lives with, and Louise, Miss Louise the raccoon. We might have to come back to do Louise. Louise is actually a 20-year-old raccoon, extremely old for raccoons. And she was in our house when baby Hannibal and the kittens came in. The kittens were very unexpected. And Miss Louise, the raccoon, raised all of them in the house together. So they're one big family. They don't know any better. When we go to do Louise's flea meds or her nails, Hannibal will actually get in our face and growl. He's very protective over Mom. Right now, Louise is in the back of one of her areas, one of the housing areas, and the cat, Betty Boo, is in there with her. So yeah, very unique, very weird group, and you've never seen this in a while. In a while, the bobcat would kill and eat everybody, but here they're one big happy family. And we use this a lot for education with kids, because we always tell everybody, you know, if animals of different species like this, that should be enemies, that should kill each other and eat each other and whatnot, and get along, then why can't people? So yeah, this is a perfect example of craziness that we have going on in our place. Interspecies fun. That sounded kind of wrong, didn't it? But anyway, you all know what I meant. So yeah, this is our group. And Travis can walk up. I don't know if he can see because it's so dark. But Betty Boop and Louise in the back daycare. And 20 years old, that's unheard of for a raccoon. That is incredible. Actually, she might be 21 at this point. Louise! Weezy! Where's the Weezy? She even moving? Is she awake? Is she moving?
Sleeping.
She's sleeping. Louise! Weezy! There she is. Always good to check on you. Louise! Weezy! Good morning! There's Miss Louise. And there's her cat, Betty Boop. So Betty Boop is guarding Mama Raccoon. Yeah, Betty Boop is like, don't you dare come near her. So that's our crazy group out here. Here's Ewok. Hey, Ewok. Ewok's like, what the hell do you people want? We're trying to sleep. So yeah, as you can see, AJ and Hannibal are especially close. They groom each other all the time. Hannibal will actually share his food with the others. And he's actually been caught eating cat food, domestic cat food occasionally because the others are eating it. The other day I heard that he tried to take a piece of chicken away from Louise and she bitch slapped him. And he backed off. She's a feisty girl. Look at that. Yeah, I love you. So yeah, I totally forgot we had that video, so I was totally redundant just now. So anyway, any questions of anything you saw or heard or you're just curious about? Normal in the wild, about 6 to 8 years. Yeah, and we had Roxy too that lived to be 20. So yeah, we must be doing something right. So emus can be very aggressive animals, especially during breeding season and everything. That's one of the few animals we have that we have not neutered or spayed. I don't even know if that could be done, but luckily so far, nothing has happened. And if they lay an egg, then somebody gets a big omelet. What can I say? Wendy in the corner here.
Would you say it's timing on how you get when you get the age of the animals, or do you think interactions that can cause the camaraderie between all of them?
It's both, actually. Yeah, the timing was just perfect as far as with that group and with the tiger and the LLiger, because they were both young and we were able to raise them together. And right away, when something comes in, I live on property, Travis and I live on property, and I personally evaluate the animal, and a lot of times I can tell by personalities who might get along with who. So a lot of times we'll just put them next to each other or supervise visits just to see how it's going to go. So yeah, we've got a lot of unique animals that live together and everything. So anybody else? Right there.
Saber Fox is building something west of Orlando. Is there any coordination between you and them at all? Have you talked?
Actually, I don't know them personally. I haven't met them yet. I'm sure I will. I have friends that know who they are and everything, and the word is out. We're like a network.
So that's how we got the fur farm foxes and all, because most of them came from out of state. So we all kind of meet each other eventually. So, and we're all, you know, everybody knows that I'm willing to take what I can. Like I said, a lot of the money from here is going to be building 2 fox areas as it is. So right now I'm full up on foxes at the moment. But I always try, if I can't take something, I try to help place it somewhere else through somebody I know.
I think I just want to say on behalf of the animals, on behalf of the fandom, thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And like I said, I couldn't do it without my fantastic volunteers and without all of you guys helping out. It makes a tremendous difference, especially after this pandemic, and we lost so much money, and we're still able to take animals in and give them the quality care they deserve. So thank you guys for everything you've done so far.
And we are going to start our check action in just a moment, and hopefully you guys are going to be really generous and help out care. Not only will you be able to get some cool stuff, because there's some neat stuff up here, but remember, every dollar that you raise is going straight to help the animals, whether it be for feeding, for enclosures, for upgrades to facilities, medical bills. There's all kinds of expenses that are involved. It's not just, oh, we have to take care of an animal. A lot of it is medical, ongoing expenses, food, grooming, making sure that the enclosures are in good condition, because we want to make sure that they stay not only up to code, but that the animals have an amazing quality of life. That's really, really important. So, without further ado, I'm going to ask my buddy Alkali to come on up here and help us with our charity auction.